record and I will demonstrate my screen because I guess it's high time we started. So first of all, while others are coming here, I want you to look at my first slide and think a little bit about how is it about you? How far is it about you? So you can tape the number from 1 to 10, read this quote, and where 1 will mean that it's just completely different and you don't do this, and 10 will mean that, yeah, it happens to me from time to time. So just read the quote and type in the chat the number from 1 to 10. Mm-hmm. Okay, I can see that. Oh, but well, but it is 7, 8, 3 years ago. I see. Okay, so I can see that it might be quite helpful today because some of you really do have this problem. Mm-hmm. But most of you don't, and that's great. Okay, so for those who don't know, my name is Ekaterina Yakovleva. I'm the teacher of Welcome Studia. I've been here for 3 years. And before that, I've been working at school, at Moscow State School. It was gymnasium, actually one of the top gymnasiums, so quite a lot of experience. It's my, I guess, maybe 15th or 16th year of teaching career. I don't remember exactly, but still there is so much to work on, and teachers are constantly being students, and me no exception. So what we're going to focus on today is giving instructions. And I hope if you don't know how to do it, this session might be very helpful and you will try to implement all the techniques in your daily routine in class. So this is our plan today. I'm going to start with asking you some questions, and we are going to come back to them during this session. And I want to tell you today, what is it? How to give instructions properly, and why is it so important actually? And what we will start with when we want to get the attention of our students, how can we get it? Of course, we're going to speak about ICQs and briefly about CCQs as well, because people tend to misunderstand these terms, and we're going to speak about all the elements of good instructions. And if you have watched our LMS course first steps, then maybe you are acknowledged with some of these things, but hopefully there will be some new information as well. And at the end, I want you to be active listeners. So I want you to participate, and we will have some networking session. I have prepared some tasks from the books that we are using. It's Super Safari and Super Minds and Your Space, Prepare. So you are going to talk, to brainstorm, and just give you ideas on how to give an instruction to the tasks. So any questions so far? No. Okay, that's great. So it's time to start then. And my first thing for you to actively participate is to answer these 3 questions. If you want, you can take a photo or a screenshot. So you have discussed in groups the first question, and it was when you give instructions. And I can see that some of you realize it that we don't even give instructions when you complete some task, yeah, but still you can use it when you speak about classroom management, when you give the homework, or well, in any situation in class, you can give instruction and check if the students are listening to you. And of course, it's quite important to know that you are giving it properly. The other day, I watched a woman. She's working as a consultant of kids with dyslexia and some mental problems. And her name is Sarah Mitchell. I will share the link. I will share all the links of the books and all the materials that I used just at the end of this presentation. And of course, I will share my presentation with you as well. So this woman, Sarah Mitchell, said that if you want your students to hear you and to hear you and understand all the instruction properly, you should keep in mind that these instructions are really important because it can reduce off-task behavior. What she means is that if you waste a lot of time on getting ready for the lesson and on getting ready how to give the instruction, then gradually the students will do the task properly, and you will not have to spend time on explanations. I know that sometimes it really happens when you give an instruction and then your students suddenly look puzzled, or they complete another task, another just they do it not in the same way as you wanted them to do. So just to reduce it, this behavior, just to make the students do what you really want them to do, you need to give these proper instructions. What is next? Of course, you should give the instructions properly because it can improve your students' success rate. And what I mean is, the better they complete the tasks, the better they listen to you, the higher will be their level of English, because they will do the tasks properly. It will speed up the lesson. You will do more exercises, and consequently, of course, they will have just all the tasks completed in the way you want them to do this. What's next? People are still coming. What are these instructions may help you? They will help you to make a structured classroom. I know that some people don't like this routine, but it really helps. When from one lesson to the other, you repeat the same phrases, you drill them. It can be like some classroom routine phrases like, may I go out? Or can I come in? Yes, something like this. Or it can be some instructions when you do the same tasks over and over again, like reading for gist or reading for detail, and the students are used to it. The more you do it, the more you use the same wording, the better students are at this kind of tasks. And gradually you will understand that sometime later, you don't need to give any instructions. They just open the book and they do the task the way you want them to do it. But of course, it takes time. What's next? These kind of things, like these techniques, they might help you to reduce the use of Russian. Sometimes, especially those teachers who just start their career, you feel that students keep on talking Russian. There are lots of reasons why they do this, but one of these might be misunderstanding. They just don't know what you want them to do. And they keep on speaking Russian because it's obvious, it's easier to talk Russian than to talk English. What I want you to pay attention to, when you are giving some instruction, I want you to check if they didn't get it in the wrong way. How to check it? I think you come across it from time to time. There is dead silence. when you give an instruction how to read a story, how to write an essay, and then the students are just staring at you and keeping silence. So this is one of the things that might ring a bell, that, oh no, something is going wrong. I'm doing not the right thing. I should stop it. If the students are doing the task, but they're doing it in the wrong way, it also may ring you a bell that you are doing something wrong. For example, you want the students to work in pairs, but they're working individually. It might be sometimes it might be really bad sometimes because you just, it ruins the task. You just can't do the task properly. When they talk Russian, and I have already mentioned it, so if they're starting to talk Russian, that means that something is going wrong. The students don't understand you. And I think some of you came across it from just occasionally, maybe, when people, especially teens, begin to laugh nervously, looking at you and giggling. Yeah, it also helps just to look at this reaction to realize that, well, you failed. Let's start over and over again. I don't think that you should be nervous about it. When there is such a situation, don't panic. Of course, we are all studying, we are all teachers, and we can make mistakes. It's okay. But today, I hope I will teach you, and we will brainstorm some ideas how to avoid it. So when we want to, people are still coming, when we want to give a good instruction, first of all, we should make sure that you are being listened to. For instance, now I'm looking at Lena. She is the only person whom I can see because the others have no cameras. Oh no, yeah, some of you have. The others don't. So how can I make sure that you are listening to me? I can use some attention grabbers. For instance, I can make some chunks. It really works not only with small kids, and I remember that Natasha Chelnakova in her session told about some chunks, but it can really work with adults as well. I tried with my prepare group and your space group. They are young teens, but still they liked it. So I say 1, 2, 3, eyes on me, and they say 1 and 2, eyes on you. Of course, when you say it for the first time, they look at you and say, what? But then when you gradually just do it from lesson to lesson, then they get used to it. And when you say 1, 2, 3, eyes on me, you will hear their reaction. They say 1 and 2, eyes on you. I really like that. Also, you can say hands on top, and you just move your hands, put them on your head, and the students say that means stop. There are quite a lot of other phrases, both for teens and young learners. I have also added some links at the end of this presentation so that you can watch them on YouTube and use them in your class. Another thing that really works, it's like clapping your hands or snapping your fingers. Because when you do some sudden noise like this, everyone listens to you, or at least looks at you, or snapping. I have also watched some different variations of this. You can not only snap or clap, but you can do some movements so that the students repeat after you. For example, you snap once, show 1 finger, snap twice, show 2 fingers, snap 3 times, show 3 fingers, and you ask your students to repeat it. Or you can touch different parts of your body, like clap, touch your nose, clap, touch your head, clap, touch your ear, and so on. And the students repeat after you, and they don't get distracted because they were talking, and then you suddenly, attention, look at me, let's do this. And you are doing different movements, and now they are listening to you. Hopefully you are listening to me too. You can also count. I like the man. He's a teacher of English in Chinese school. I really like Chinese teachers. Not Chinese, he's an American or a British one, I don't remember exactly, but he works in China. And you know, in China there are lots of children in class. I don't know how he manages this, but probably it's due to their mentality, or just because he's a really great teacher, but he knows how to keep them silent in just 3 seconds. So he uses counting system. He shows his fingers like 5 and shouting very loudly, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And they, 30 people or maybe 40 people in a class, they still keep silent and they sit like this. How does he do this? He studied his first lesson with all his classes. He starts his first lesson in class, whether it is a new group or whether it is just the beginning of the year or after the holidays. He devotes all the lesson to classroom management. They're setting the rules, and he keeps on repeating these rules to his class, like 5, straight, and they repeat it, like 4, speak English. And when they remember these phrases, he doesn't need to repeat the rules. So he just begins counting, and they do this, like 5, so on. They just repeat their actions without saying it. So if you do it from time to time, and I would say if you do it on each lesson, then it will work. I tried it with my Your Space group. I tried it not with counting and not with the rules. I tried it with implementing the new words on months, dates, and all this stuff. And we draw a poster, and there were months and days and weather. And every lesson, keep on repeating the same phrase. What's the date? What's the day? What is the weather like? And on drilling it, now even the, how to say, slowest, let me call them like this, the slowest students, even they can do this. Even they can write February without any mistake. So it really helps when you drill. The same with instructions. If you drill this, that will work. And if you work with students for several years, then they will just know what to do. They will even pick on you, just have an eye contact, and they will understand, she wants us to do this. You can also tune your voice. I guess all of you know that if I whisper, you are going to listen to me attentively because I'm doing something strange. And if I cry it like this, you will also grab their attention because, students like it. And I heard that even like it more when you whisper, because it's something strange. Teachers tend to cry a lot, shout a lot, especially at school. So it's an occasional thing, yeah? But if you whisper, then it's something strange happening. Why? We were talking to our partners about, I don't know, a new girlfriend, and then suddenly my teacher began whispering. Why? I should listen to him. Maybe there is something interesting happening. The same with singing strange songs. I picked it up on YouTube. It is an American channel, and teachers are sharing their attention grabbers techniques. And Americans like this song. I'm going to sing now. It's like ba 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 ba. So the same, I think we have the same songs in Russian, so you can use them. You can split them into parts, and you start the beginning of this melody, and the students go on, finish it up. In that video, it was like the teacher started suddenly, unexpectedly. Oh, the class was noisy, and then she said ba 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 ba. All of them just stopped talking, turned their eyes on her, and they said ba 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 ba. It was great. They were teenagers, about maybe 15 years old, and that was really shocking. Maybe it works with Americans, I don't know, but I think if you are making some strange noises, it might work. What's next? You can use some catchy phrases. Like you were talking, so telling them something, they are not listening, and then you suddenly say, "Thank you for being quiet so quickly." So, something like this. And probably it might grab their attention, and then they will listen to you. Do you know any other attention grabbers? Is anyone listening to me? Do I need to sing a song?
Can I share?
Yeah, sure.
Look, there is a great attention grabber that even very young learners can learn from the first lesson. And I use it a lot with older groups because maybe sometimes they are not reacting on these silly things. Yes, like la 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 la. But
yeah.
Look, it sounds very easily. You say class, class, and they should react yes, yes. And when you change your intonation, even your voice, if you say it in whisper, you should, of course, teach them to react the same level, like class, class. And they should react yes, yes. Look, it works all the time. When they're very nosy, they're not listening, they're playing computer games. So you say class, class. Yes, yes. So at least half of the class look at you, and you repeat it again, so everyone look at you, and maybe it's time to write down their homework. So use it. Works again all the time.
Yeah, it's really helpful. Yeah. I also like have it here. If you can hear my voice, clap once. If you can hear my voice, clap twice. I used it with my class, and it really worked. But I haven't used it with super minds, so maybe they will do it as well. Natasha is more experienced with young learners, very young learners, so probably you can watch some videos that I have at the end of my presentation. There are quite a lot of ideas, both for small kids and for teenagers. You can just choose what you will like. Okay, let's move on.
Can I share as well? Can I share as well?
Yeah, sure, of course.
So I'm not going to say anything extraordinary, but having a lot of lessons online now, I want to remind about a magic button to mute everyone.
Yeah.
Well, especially with teens who start sometimes having arguments or debating to each other. And when you are an administrator of the session, there is a magic button, mute everybody. So it really attracts the attention.
Yeah, good point. Anyone else to share? Or
Just
shall we
can clarify about the magic button? How it works? If you can explain, please.
When you are an administrator of a conference in Zoom, there is a special button. It looks like to mute everyone in the conference. You click it and all the microphones are muted at the same moment. And there is a silence, you know, this death silence.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's move on. Yeah, we have grabbed their attention. Now all of them are listening. And what can we do next? You have discussed at the very beginning the question, what can help us to give instructions? So I'm going to share with you some of the ideas. I guess some were mentioned by you and you know them. Probably some of you will be new. So there is quite a big list. If you want, you can just make notes, or I will definitely share it with you at the end. And first and foremost, you should grade your language. I guess all of you understand that if you speak with grammatically correct big constructions, using conditionals and all those, trying to show your students how brilliant you are at the language, that you are the user of C1, yeah, that's great, but they will not understand you. And when you give instructions, our main aim is to make sure that the students complete the task properly. This time, we are not interested in showing how well you know the language. We are interested in giving the correct instruction. That's why you should use some common words, common terms like look, listen, listen to your partner, think about this or that. What can be graded? We can grade grammar and lexis. You should avoid the constructions that the students haven't studied. So if you are working with Superminds 1, of course, no conditionals here. You should grade the language according to the material that they have learned. They know these simple words, so use them. Or if they don't know, then teach them how to understand this. At least they will understand the word read, write, and listen. We should also grade the sounds. What I mean here, don't use elision, don't use assimilation. Like if you want to say, what do you want? Don't pronounce it as what you want. They will not understand you. Of course, that's a tricky moment because you should grade your language not only for young learners, but also for the adults and for those who have upper levels. That is working in another way. If you're working with upper levels like B2 or C1, you should implement grammar, like not a very simple one, and you should also use some sounds, assimilations, some discourse features to make it more difficult even when you're given an instruction. But of course, now we are more interested in giving an instruction in a simple way. So still, I'm coming back to grading the language according to the level of the student. As for stress, how can we grade it? There is such a term as punching the words. So you should punch the words or stress the words that are the key words. If you want the students to open some exercise in the book, so you stress, open your student's book, because you need a student's book, not a workbook. Yeah, so you stress it, student's book, and then you stress the number of the page, so page 3 or page 4, or I don't know, page 21. Yeah, so you stress the keywords, what you want to focus their attention on. Another aspect is sequencing. What does it mean? You should give the information in the order, and in the order the actions are happening. So if you are doing some craft, you can't start with the final result. Yeah, so first of all, you need to show the paper or scissors to show how to cut it. So you do it in the time order, in the way it happens like at the lesson, the same as reading activity. First of all, you open the book, you look at the exercise, you read the exercise. So just give one instruction at a time and in time order. Of course, the speed of delivery can be graded as well, because some, especially very young learners, they need they need to listen to you in a more slow manner. You can't just speed up, yes, your manner of talk. And at the same time, you can't add some noise, some extra words like, well, what I mean, it's distracting their attention. Don't use them. If you want to simplify, be very simple in your speech. Don't try to use the words that the students will not understand. However, grading language doesn't mean that you skip all the rules of common sense and that you don't speak real English. Graded English is still real English. So you should follow the rules and you shouldn't invent some new words. But you should grade the complexity, grade the summary, put it in shortcuts. And that's why I'm moving to the second point. You keep it short and you don't give lots of detail. Give small, short pieces of information. Open, read, listen, think. And don't give any details, especially for young learners, because they will not listen to you. This woman, Sarah Mitchell, who is working with children with special needs, says that they can listen only for 2 minutes. After that, they will not listen at all. So if you want to give some instruction, make sure that it's not very long. Probably, if the task is quite difficult, you can put it in different parts. Start with one, do this, and then move to another instruction. This point I like very much. It is stop talking. Girls, it's not secret. Me no exception. We like to talk a lot. And it might be helpful, of course, if you want to talk to your students, but not when you are given an instruction. Sometimes we are like bombarding them with lots of information. Sometimes this information is not up to the point at all. So give them some time to think. They need at least 10 seconds for this thinking process. Don't paraphrase. I know that we are taught to paraphrase. If they don't get it, use some other wording. But no, first of all, give them some time to think. They need to understand what you want from them, especially those who have some mental problems. If you paraphrase it, there will be another thing to think about. They don't understand that information is the same as this one. There will be two thinking processes. So stop talking, give them time. Your classroom should be a place where you can think in silence. You cannot always scaffold your students. You can't always just help them. Yes, of course, you can't leave them. You can't just say, okay, do whatever you want, but give them some time. If it doesn't work, if you see that it's still, they don't understand, then of course you can paraphrase, you can, oh, sorry, I'll switch off the mobile phone. That's why I don't like working from home. So when we are talking a lot, when we are bombarding our students with new information, we cannot really understand and cannot really grasp their attention. Another thing, what also some of the teachers do, if the students don't get it, then they use Russian. They translate. Why can't we do this? Students are lazy, most of them, and they get used to you translating all the time. So if they know that you will translate finally, they will just wait, skip all your instructions and wait until you translate it. Yes, you can use Russian, of course, but it will be the last step, and not for the whole class, but for those 1 or 2 students who really can't get it. You can just come to them and whisper in Russian, but it will be the last point. If you use all the techniques, then, and they don't work, then you can use Russian. What's next? Another thing to use, it's like demonstrate this activity. You can you can make your instructions multisensory. Especially if you are doing some craft, you can put all the materials in front of you on the desk, and when you are demonstrating it, you just show. So take scissors, take paper, cut, and you do it step by step. A good point here will be to involve your students as well, and you can also make them, I had it here, but I don't know where is it. So you can just make them participate. So instead of showing scissors, you can involve a student. Come here, I don't know, Dasha, Masha, Sasha, and take the scissors and cut it. All of them look at this person and do the same. You can use signposting language, like first we take this, then we take this, and finally we cut it. And also you can use some gestures, facial expressions. I'm really good at it. I like showing everything with my face, with gestures, with all the realia that we have around. Sometimes it works because if the students can see it, they will do the same. So I have already mentioned, yes, there it is. So role playing with the student, the task, if you are given, for example, reading task, and you want then to have a dialogue, you can, after talking, yes, after underlining the phrases in the reading part, you can role play it with the student. Get an example. Of course, it might be a student who is brighter than the others, but you can also pick up any student, actually. I tried it even with those who are very slow at understanding, and it helps if you scaffold them a little bit. I have already mentioned it, but I still want to draw your attention to drilling some of the common phrases and tasks, because if the students get used to doing the task in the same way, then finally you don't spend much time on instructions. You just give the task, students see it, and they perform it in the best way. For instance, if you want the students to work in pairs and to make a dialogue, you can every time drill the same movements, the same actions, and then finally they get used to it and they will do it. And next time you say just work in pairs, they will do it. So again, you can grade it. If you see that the students got used to some activities, you can reduce instructions. You can not explain the things that are obvious for them. But still, how do you know if it is obvious? If they keep on doing it properly. So if it is your first class, if it is the students that you don't know, or you are just beginning to work with them, you should drill everything. Even a simple thing, a simple for you thing might be difficult for them. Even if you say check in pairs, it doesn't mean that they will do it the way you want them to do. They can just, okay, look, say it in Russian. Смотри, у тебя то же самое, and that's it. So you should teach them how to do it, how to check in pairs. What do you do? So give them some instructions. It can be possible when you make a poster or some cards. Put these cards like a pack of cards, like listen, read, write, and so on, and put an activity in different short stages. And then students, before doing the task, they together put these stages in the order so that they realize what is number 1, what is number 2, what is number 3, and then they complete the task. So it might work as well. As for materials, it's a tricky question, actually. I have tried both spreading out the task and then explaining instructions, and just keeping all the worksheets in my hands, explaining instructions, and then spreading them out. Both variants work, but it depends on the group. I think you know your groups better than me. Still, in our books, it is said that first of all, you give an instruction and then you give out the material. Because if you give the worksheet, they will not listen to you. Actually, I don't know, because sometimes it works when I give out and they listen, and it's much easier when they can see it in front of their eyes and they can follow it. And sometimes it doesn't work. Even if you cover it or turn it over, they still don't listen. They look at the task and they do it in their own way. I don't know, but you can try both and you will see what it works in your groups. Of course, after you have given the instruction, it's important to ask the question. And we are going to speak about ICQs a little bit later. So I will move to this point. You should plan your instructions, especially at the very beginning. You should write it in your plan, like how you are going to give an instruction to your students, what you are going to say, and what questions you will use to check if they understand it. So you should plan your instructions. Keep it in mind, please. So we are coming to the question, what is ICQs and what is CCQs? I sometimes realize that people mix it. Any ideas? What is it? What is ICQs?
ICQs, instruction, checking questions. When you check in the instructions, are you listening? Are you speaking now? Are you reading while listening to this song, right? And CCQs, some concept checking questions when you want to concept, yes. When you want to be sure that children maybe understand this very text or a picture. Is it a dog? Maybe is it really blue? And some other.
Yeah, actually to check whether they understand grammar, yeah, and vocabulary. So it's a little bit different, and today we are concentrating mostly on checking the instructions because our topic is giving instructions, yeah. So ICQs, it's what you are going to use to check whether the students understand what you want from them. If you want the students to read the text and complete the gaps, and they start not completing the gaps, but I don't know, writing something or writing an essay, yeah, or they are not reading the text that you want them to read, then you fail the whole task and you will have to spend lots of time on explaining it again and again, and the lesson fails. So ICQs is very important. Sometimes only one student doesn't understand the task, but it can spoil the whole task. So it's quite important, and don't ignore it. Don't ignore ICQs. And there are some tips that might be helpful how to make this kind of questions. So it is a question to check how well the student understands your instruction. First of all, don't ask, do you understand? Or is it clear? I know there were some debates in your groups when I asked you at the very beginning about this. Yes, it's tricky, it's controversial, but what I want to share with you, and I really like this idea. If you ask your students, do you understand? They might say, yeah, we do. But it doesn't mean that they really do understand. They might be, first of all, just unaware that they don't understand. Simply because, well, how can you know? If you don't know something, you don't know it, yeah? And secondly, yes, they can be aware that they don't understand it, but there are lots of classmates in this group. And if there are lots of classmates in this group, they can be laughing at you. So why should I say I don't understand? I will just keep silent and say yes. So it's quite tricky. And I will ask you to avoid these questions. Is it clear? It's the same because it might be not clear, but still you hear yes. So how can we skip it? How can we check that a student really understands what to do? You ask a question and you make this question keeping in mind that there might be some problems in the task. So you are trying to anticipate it. For instance, fill in each gap below with one word from the text you have just read. What might be the most tricky thing? It might be that the students will write not one word, but 2, 3, 7 words. So you can anticipate this problem and you can ask, can you use all the words or those that come from the text? Can you use expressions with 2 or 3 words? And then you will make sure that they got to the task properly and they do the task like in the way that you want them to do. What's next? There are some things that make confusion and some aspects that might be tricky. For instance, you have the task, listen to the radio show, number the topics in the order the speakers mentioned. So there are a lot of topics here, and especially teenagers that are used to such kind of tasks as tick the box, they can just tick what topics were mentioned. But it's not what you want them to do, because you have to put these topics in the order. That's why you ask them, are you going to tick the questions or to put them in order? And then you will hear the correct answer, hopefully, and they will complete this task. Next, you shouldn't ask obvious questions. If you ask your students, listen to the text, don't ask them, are you going to listen? It's obvious. You say, listen to the text. Of course you will listen. What can we do? Or you say, work in pairs. Don't ask, are you going to work in pairs? They will look at you like this and say, yes, of course. You say work in pairs. We are working in pairs. That's it. So the questions that are quite obvious, you shouldn't use ICQs just to tick the box. Okay, I use ICQs. I'm a great teacher. No, it doesn't work like this. You need this as an instrument that might help you to complete the task, to make sure that all the students complete the task properly, the way you want them to do it. And make sure that you really say what you mean and you mean what you say. I really like this phrase. So don't give anything extra. And of course, simple language, again, we're coming back to this. Remember grading your language. Don't give instructions and don't give ICQs. Don't check your students with the language that they don't understand. So we are coming to the last point, and these are the elements of a good instruction. if you watched our LMS first step course, you came across all those elements. There are some more that I have added, but still the general idea you have. So first of all, I want you to look at this instruction and read it to yourself. Just you have 1 minute to do it. Okay, I hope you are good at reading. So, can you tell me what are the elements of this instruction? If we speak about the red one at the very beginning, what's this?
Attraction? Attract the attention.
There are some
not
fillers.
Yeah.
I
Do
would
you
say
remember the name?
instruction.
Yes, exactly. It's a frame. So we can see the people who have just watched this course. Yeah. Yes, it's a frame that helps us to start a new activity, to move from one action to the other. Yeah. So you just grab attention and say, okay, now we are going to do this and this. Okay, so what about the next phase? We are going to ask questions. What's this?
Explain the task.
Yeah, exactly. So you grab their attention and then you want to explain what to do. It's a brief summary of the task, yeah? And of course, the purpose that we have for this task. I'm sure number 3 is easy, work in pairs. What's this?
It's a pattern.
Yeah, so we are speaking about interaction patterns or organization, yes? How we are going to work. What's next in the white?
It's grammar. We set the grammar points.
Okay, any other ideas?
Like target language they have to use.
Yeah, it's like actually there are a few points here. Yeah, you describe the procedure, what we are going to do. Yeah, what kind of questions you are going to ask, what kind of answers you are going to get, that you are going to speak, not to write. Yeah, so the mode, and of course what the result will be. So you talk together, so it's a kind of dialogue. Yes, you say yes or no, you ask a question, and you give a strategy that you don't give any details, just yes or no, nothing else in this task. It's important, yeah? Okay, you have 10 minutes. What's this?
Timetable.
Yes, timing, yeah, time setting. So you get the time period, yes, when the students have to, when the students have to complete this task. And it's important actually, because if you do some productive activities, you need to set this limit, because if you don't, students will talk a lot or write a lot, and the task will fail actually. So keep it in mind. Don't forget about the timing. Okay, what are the green words?
CCQs.
Is it CCQs?
And some ICQs. These are ICQs, yeah.
Yeah.
You
they
check
are
out
ICQs.
instructions. Yeah.
Because CCQs, as I have already mentioned, and as Natasha has already mentioned, we are checking the concept. So whether the person understands that a dog is a dog and a cat is a cat, yeah? And here we are checking the instruction, whether they understand what to do, how many questions you ask, how many questions you answer. Do you speak about pets, or do you speak about, I don't know, some other things? Do we give any details? How much time do we have? So you check if the students understand what to do in this task. The more questions you ask, the more details you will check. And again, I repeat, don't ask obvious questions. So in this task, I'm not going to ask, are you going to work in pairs? Because they are going to work in pairs. That is the task. Okay, and the last one, oops, I said it, not you. Okay, so it's a cue, yeah, when they realize it's time to start, yeah? So what we do now, you take a screenshot or a photo of this just to make sure that everything that is used, that is written here, will be used by you in the networking session that we are going to have right now. So what we do, we are going to work in groups, and you are going to look at the task. All of you will have different tasks, and you will have to decide how to give an instruction, and you will have to try to use ICQs. You can write on the slides, and you will have 10 minutes to discuss. In these groups, please pay attention what room you are in. So when you are getting into the session room, pay attention to the number of the room, because the slide is the same number as the room. So when you get in room 1, you open
Slide 1.
exactly, and when you get in room 3, you open
Slide 3.
exactly. Yes, that's it. So you are not going to work in all slides. Please pay attention to it. Only the slide that you are, which group you are in. So can you tell me, please, how many minutes have you got?
10.
10.
Okay. Do we write anything?
Yes, type.
Yeah, you
type.
can. Yes, you can type, you can write, make notes, you can type on the slide, you can choose a manager to do this, yeah? And of course, I want you to use all the techniques that I have shared with you. Let's start with Super Safari, yeah? So group number 1, can you share your ideas?
Well, not my piece of cake, but still. Natasha gave us a lot of pieces of advice. So of course, for this level, we have to use TPR and provide a lot of gestures. And mostly we have to demonstrate by ourselves. And only after this, students will be able to follow our instructions. So firstly, we need to use some attention grabber, like 1, 2, 3, look at me. Then the teacher could have a ball in their hands and ask, what this? Do you like it? Elicit some answers like yes. Then ask with the gesture show, look at me and listen. And then teacher can act out the pictures by herself without showing these pictures to students, like throw a ball and catch the ball and so on. After acting out, teacher can instruct students like, now let's play with the ball, and ask a pair of students like Misha and Dasha stand up, listen and play. And then we can hand out the ball to these 2 students to listen to the recording and follow the instructions in the recording. And then we can repeat the same procedure with other pairs. When everyone tried, we have to stop the activity. We can say, like, let's stop the game, or Natasha told that there are some songs which can be helpful to lead students to the table. We can just say sit down at the desk. It depends on the group. Then we have to instruct them to take out their books. At that moment, teacher has to have their own book in the hands and show, like, look at my book. On my book, I have Polly, Gina, Leo, and I don't remember the last character's name, because students at this age are not aware usually of the difference between these two books. So we can count the characters and show, like, look at my book, I've got these characters. Have you got these characters in your books? If they have, we ask, open this book. And we show with gestures, like, open this book, and we show with our book. Then we ask them, open your book at page, and we show this page in our book, or we can copy the number on the board. Of course, some of the students will need your help to find the right page. Then we ask them to look at the pictures. We can ask CCQ, like, how many pictures are there? What number is catchable? What number is throwable? So students can get familiar with the correspondence of what the students were doing before, acting out, and what are they seeing now in the picture. Then we provide them with colors. It depends on the group again. Some students can take the colored pencils following your instruction, like take yellow pencil, take red pencil. Some of them will need your help, but still, when they have this equipment, you can instruct them, like, now listen and color the white circle. So that is all what I have remembered. Natasha,
Yes, you're absolutely right. And then you just finish this activity. You say, okay, thank you, well done, everyone. And you draw some hearts on their pages, like, great job. Just praise them.
Thank you, girls. Quite interesting. Yeah, thank you. You used all the material and even added more. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, because we're just short of time and we have to cover all the points here. So group number 2. Who wants to talk?
Can you present?
Yeah.
We can start with the phrase, okay, let's play together now. Let's stand in a circle. And if I'm not mistaken, at first we provide like an example on the board. We use all the flashcards with activities and days of the week. And first of all, we demonstrate our own example. Yeah, for example, I go swimming on Mondays. What about you? Yeah, and we like show to another student, and looking at the board with all these flashcards, they make up their own questions. Or now I have this idea, we can hand out all of these flashcards, one with the activity, another with the day, and they just look at their flashcards and say, I, for example, ride a bike on Fridays. And one by one, they all say these sentences. For us, it was really tricky to invent some ICQs or CCQs. Maybe now, girls, you can help me.
What they might misunderstand. Just think about
that they need to ask questions after this, I think. And we can use a ball. For example, I have a ball and say, I go swimming on Monday. What about you? And just put the ball, and maybe they will understand that they need to throw a ball after the same sentence.
Okay, any other ideas?
We can use so-called imaginary friend, or I don't know, another student, and actually demonstrate the activity, like I go swimming on Mondays, what about you? And the imaginary friend actually answers, or Blackie, I don't know if you have this bucket, I play football on Mondays, what about you? So they need to understand what about you, and probably you can ask them to repeat, like, what about you? And they repeat this question. So
And also keep in mind that you should also think about what they might not do, yes, in this task. So when you are thinking about ICQs, you think what you want them to do and what you want them not to do. So what they might not do in this task. Just you don't want them to do something.
Maybe to draw some details of their day.
I don't think that they have enough yes, words for this. Did you have such kind of lesson with your
I just maybe don't give, for example, if we play with ball, don't give ball to the same person, like something like this. Doing it after one by one, do something like this to show just that you need to pass the ball to another person, not to the same, like to your friends.
Yeah, actually make sure that everyone is involved in this task. Yes, because we can see it's a group task. It's a group task. There are 4 people only in this picture, but in life it can be much more. So how can you just make sure that all of them complete this task, all of them ask question, what about you? All of them answer, I do something on Mondays. They speak about the days, and activities. So just keep it in mind. So what can we ask? What ICQs can we ask when we set the task? So first of all, like we start, you are going to
play.
What? To do what? To play,
To play.
Ask
play together.
Play together, okay, but playing together doesn't give you the task. Yeah, hooray, we are going to play.
So let's stand up. Maybe you need to stand up, make a circle.
Okay, well, if we come back to all the elements, you just start with the frame and then you give this the task, the structure, what you're going to do. You're going to ask questions, answer them. So like speak about the day or what, the week, what
activity.
No, activities, days.
If we give them just if we explain the task like you're going, I don't think they will understand.
Okay, now we
play.
About your week.
Week probably, they will. I have just had this class with my group. Unfortunately, I have only 2 students, but I gave them just the example. I wrote the word I, then I have these flashcards in a row and days of week in columns. And I gave example like, look at me, I go swimming, pointed to the picture on Mondays. What about you? And I use that imaginary guy who actually answered the question. So,
or if you have more people, then you can use just not an imaginary, but a real guy, in class.
Maybe the real guy,
and it might be not a group work, but a pair work. It can be mingling, activities. So okay. Let's move on, because I'm sorry, just lots of things to discuss, but I hope you got the idea. So group number 3, your space. I really liked this activity. I tried it with my students and I had some problems. That's why now I know what kind of ICQs we can ask here. So can you share your ideas, girls? Anyone?
Well, we can start with when teacher asks them to look through this form. And sometimes I ask my students to read the task. For example, I nominate one student to read the task. So, and then maybe to read some of these words from this form. For name, age, nationality, favorite color, favorite look, favorite TV program. So, and then I'll give them some instructions. So after they have looked through this frame, so I I say like, now we like, okay, now you are going to write the answers of about your partner, and maybe I can divide them. For example, Masha works with Masha, your partner is Misha. Misha, your partner is Vladimir. So, and then you're going to write answers about your partner. So, but don't ask them these questions. So try to think and write them. So about your partner. So work individually. You can use one or two words. For example, about favorite color, use only one color. About favorite book, sometimes it's a bit challenging for them to write the title in English, so I can ask them to write it in Russian. So the title of the book. So, and only one TV program. So you have 5 minutes. So, and then I can ask them ICQs like, can you ask your partner, or you can't? So how many colors or how many books can you write? So for example, 1 or 2, they can say 1. How much time do you have? 5 or 10 minutes? So they say 5. So, and you can start. So maybe other girls will continue.
You know, there is some problem that might occur here. And actually, I had this problem in my class because I didn't give proper instructions. When they complete the form, they write about themselves, not about your partners. And it might really ruin the whole task. So the first thing that you should check while giving ICQs, you have to check whether they completed for their partners, not for themselves. Yeah.
So start with this ICQ question. Are you going to write about you or your partner?
Yeah, that will be the first question you ask, because it's the key point. It is the tricky question where you might have some misunderstanding.
Yes, Kate, but also the problem in this group is that their, let's say, so their level is really low.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you may want to ask these concept checking questions even in Russian, because they may not understand.
Try to
There is
avoid
a
it
high
still. You can
probability.
use simpler words. Yeah, like just, do you write about your friend or about you? In this,
Yeah, but all the students are different, because just to, it's my pain. When you have 8 students in this group, and some of them are okay with these concept checking questions in English, and some of them are not, and they are kind of divided into 2 parts. It's really difficult to ask these questions in English because some of them understand, some of them not.
I have already mentioned that if no other techniques work, then you go and whisper to those slow students.
Yeah.
But only to them, not to the whole class. Okay. Yeah, I have the same problem. 8 students, 2 of them have just come, don't know how even to read. That's why, yeah, quite tricky. Okay, girls, just 10 minutes left. Sorry, I have just to speed you up. Group number 4. Anyone left here? All of you disappeared. Girls, does anyone want to share? Prepare for. You were the first to finish as far as I remember. Nobody? I actually don't remember who was in this group. Okay. maybe then prepare 6.
Yes, we can discuss this.
Okay.
Our
Yeah.
favorite kind of students. So, you know, it is supposed that this level students are familiar with such kind of tasks. Yes, they are prepared 6, they are B2 level. And due to this fact, we can ensure their independence and give them an opportunity to read these tasks silently, as well as explain the task by themselves. So we can just what is a teacher role, I can say, is being a shadow and provide their right direction. So they can do everything by themselves. As for me, the most challenging point here, again, according to my experience, I don't know how it's for everyone, the obstacles can appear when they are coming to the context of the writing. And from time to time, they have a tendency to using, for example, clear structures, or they have lack of idea, like, I don't know what to do. And so I don't know, I don't have ideas. And I think we as teacher have to help them in this case, not for understanding the task, but for feeling, I don't know, feeling their feeling their gaps, and help with the ideas. So we can provide the peer work or group work for brainstorming some ideas, first of all, and then we can work together for brainstorming some grammar structure as well as vocabulary. So as a good idea, we can create a checklist, again, together with grammar, with vocabulary. And in this checklist, we can mention the number of, the amount of words. And as well, we can, I don't know, recollect the structure, but I'm not sure that it's a problem. But anyway, so I think we have to give all our managing in their hands and just watch them and help a little bit. They can do everything by themselves here.
Yes, I totally agree with you. However, there might be some point which is quite tricky. Here in this concrete task where I took it, you are just planning ideas. You are not writing, yeah? And so you should make sure that students in your group know how to make notes, not just write the whole sentence, write the whole story, but make notes. And that's what you should focus their attention on, that you are not writing here. You will be writing at home, or I don't know, after this task, but not now. Now you are just making notes.
Yeah, in this case, we can use stickers and work. You know, Jamboard is a really good idea for teenagers who are always using their phones. You know, with my prepare 6 and 7 groups, we have Jamboard, and they use their phone and create stickers. And you know, they're too much lazy. And for them, writing notes, it's I think it's the best task for them, because they don't want to write the whole sentence. They just write the phrase or a collocation. We correct it together. I can see everything on my board. And I think everyone is happy because of this kind of task. Yes.
Okay. Sorry, girls, I will have to stop it now, because I think we have discussed almost everything. And what I want, just the last thing yet to show you on the screen is to share all the links. Of course, I am going to put it also in your chat, yeah, and I hope your head managers are going to share it with you as well. So here, just the books I used, we have it in our shared docs. It's Scrivener Dream Classroom Management. I hope you know this book. It's really worth reading, and quite a lot of interesting ideas you can get, not only about giving instructions, but about everything, how to manage your classroom. Also, Practical Classroom English, it's more like really practical tips. Sarah Mitchell, which is the woman I told you about, who is working with kids with dyslexia. Maybe you have some problematic kids. She might give you some advice. You can watch her YouTube channel. Teacher Val, man I have mentioned, working with Chinese groups, big groups, and some attention getters for teens, young learners, and very young learners. I hope that might be useful. So if you have any questions, I'm ready to answer them. Hopefully you got some new information here or just practiced. So thank you for your attention.
Actually, the information was very useful, because now I understood that it's very hard to give appropriate instructions.
No, it's not. No,
Not
Lena, really, it's
two-word,
not.
I mean, not two-word instructions, and there is a kind of field where I should just work and improve the things. So it was really useful. Thank you very much for the information.
Yeah, really, Kate, thank you very much, especially for those first questions, and especially do you understand and is it clear? That is my pain, and I have banned the word interesting for one of my groups, Prepare For. Now I think
You're going to ban?
To ban yeah, the word is it clear for myself.
Yeah, it might help.
Thank you also for remembering the question, are you going to read? I usually use them. I never think that they look like patronizing question. That's good.
Yeah, for me, it was really a new information as well when I came across it, and I tried to analyze what am I doing, and then suddenly, oh yes, really, why should I ask it? It's obvious. Of course, you are going to read.
Yeah, but it works with SM too. If, for example, I ask them some ICQ and they don't understand, are you going to read or listen? Oh, okay, listen. Yeah, they just
yeah, sometimes it works sometimes, really.
Okay,
I think I will stop now the video, yeah, and thank you for coming, for spending, oh my God, 2 hours here.